roast me, basically. It was supposed to be a nice thing, a little more. It turned into a tattletale. So I have a tape of that, Mike. I have the evidence, and I'm not a public speaker. I don't have that gift, but I have a few notes here. In the dark days that no one knows Mike Rankin from. The only woman in his life was his mother. He said he was a one-woman man, but the one woman for a long time was his mother. So, yeah, I'm going to fill in the dirt, if you will. I'm sure his kids have been waiting a long time to hear it. They're old enough, I think, now to hear it. So I'm going to... Did you know that when you go through Rosedale for $10, they'll throw into that T-shirt for getting a ticket now, the cops? And a hustle to get here. We went to Dairy Expo yesterday, but that's kind of the thing everybody remembers about coming up here. So my job is to fill in the time when Mike was in college and before Nancy knew him. Of course, we all understand that, and I'm in the same situation, that the best thing that ever happened to Mike from the job he had in Holstein Herd in Southern Illinois was that he met Nancy. And I don't have to go into a lot of details about how good that's been for him, and for me also. But probably two of the least eligible dairy science students living in an old, dusty, dirty farmhouse at the dairy farm. That was pretty lonely times there for a while. And we were optimistic. We'd buy 4 tickets to a concert. Now we're going to ask some girls. We're going to have a date for this finally. I think one was an Olivia Newton-John concert. Big deal.
I think you said you were going to get the dates.
So usually what happened in those cases was we didn't get the dates. We gave 2 tickets to our friends, and then we went together. Mike, being the big city kid he was, he went back and got the autographs, and bowled his way into the limousine there, and had only 2 autographs that came out of that concert for him. So yeah, we were at Iowa State, and then along about his senior year, we talked him into drinking a beer one night. That was big liver, Mike. And then the second woman in his life, Nancy, was Tammy Wynette. That was about as personal as that got. So, well, Mike had, he's from big stock in Ohio, and he came out to Iowa State with a friend of his, and I guess you talked him into visiting an ag school with you, and brought his dad, drove him out from Ohio to Ames, Iowa. And he sold them on the place. The friend's dad went on the staff at Iowa State. He got a job, and they moved to Ames, and was a journalism professor. And Engel went on. I don't know who was the smart kid in high school. You were Engel. It was probably close, You guys fighting it out for that. But this guy was the editor of the college paper and Reuters News Service in London. And Mike went to a Holstein farm downstate Illinois and started milking cows. But long about freshman, sophomore year, we were all living at the dairy farm, and Mike would get up from some afternoon, and Mike's dress up was jeans and a flannel shirt. I don't think that varied for anything but one night. In fact, Mike brought you. This is the way Mike came to Ames. One day, his dad tied 2 ties like this. He hung them on nails. Wore them a couple times, maybe when he graduated. So he would get into his pickup with a Cleveland's Indians hat and a baseball bat and a glove, his old glove, and disappear. And then he did this several times, and then somebody told us one time, says, well, did you know that Mike and his friend were the MCs for the variety shows at the university? And no, he didn't. Or he was entertaining for the animal science banquet when they had all these 400 people there. So, he didn't do much dressing up there, but he and this guy had worked up some routines in high school. Yeah, he was sort of a mystery man there for a while, but he was getting some things done when the rest of us were drinking beer. At some point, Mike well, let me see if I forgot something. I was actually a pretty good example for Mike in college because he learned to hide that intellectual side that the farm folks are a little leery of by observing me very closely. I did that for him.
Can't argue with that.
And then, our night out, we decided to get a little time on the weekend, the Bad News Bears, the real one, Walter Matthau movie came out. So Mike says, who's a big fan of this, the humor of the world, so he said, let's go down to the theater, let's go to see this new movie that's out. And so we all went into the theater and sat down. It starts kind of slow, and it's the Little League team, and they set up the whole plot of this. And then at the point where things kind of break loose, and the girl says, hell, we can't win this game. We got a this and a that, and a booger-eating moron. That's all we got on our team. This guy, breaks loose. It just hit his funny bone. Everybody. He starts to laugh, and he slides up on his seat, and he can't get air. He's laughing so hard, and the whole theater is watching us. Just trying to get air, laughing so hard, and I'm like, let's just get out of here.
I still laugh at that one.
So yeah, okay, where are we at here now? Let's go on. Here's a guy. I don't know how you can talk about loyalty here. This guy started out as a Cleveland Indians fan. In St. Louis, and he's taking Holstein cows from the outfielders and the Cardinals for the milking dairy days in the outfield. So yeah, and now, of course, we all thought he was a Brewers fan all his life, where he carries on.
I didn't mention the Indians.
So what is it about all these Iowa educated people that moved to Wisconsin? And then they look like stars. Now, I don't know what the educational system is.
I knew you were going to go there.
I can name a lot. The best example, but my Uncle Tom came up here and worked at Midwest Breeders, and had his whole career here. And then they always said, he probably would have just been an average Joe down there in Iowa with the competition there, but in Wisconsin he looked like an all-star. Yeah, that's a phenomenon. I don't know what happened. Well, I have a quote here that I saw the other day, and it kind of caught me. It's old Hank Williams Sr., the old country star, said, you have smelt a lot of mule manure before you can sing like a hillbilly. I'm going to work this in. I think Mike had never heard that quote actually. He was only taken with country music at the time. But Mike had an instinct that knew that, I kind of came from the urban area. I got this job on a dairy farm right, beside town, and he really loved it. He just got into it. And by the way, Paul Haskins is the first guy I saw when I walked into the expo yesterday. The son of the guy Mike started to work for in high school. Just happened to be sitting there and I visit. But Mike knew that, I'm going to need to know what these farmers are thinking. I need to be one of these guys. I need the experience of pitching a little manure before I'm going to be believable as an extension agent. And I think it's sort of like, you got to smell a little cow manure before people really trust you making these decisions. So we went to work at Glendale Farms in a Holstein purebred operation. And I'm sure to this day that he holds the record for the longest tenured employee that ever worked for those folks there. They're good people. But 6 months was a long time. And that's what I said. The best thing that ever happened, it was a good experience, but the best thing he took away from there was Nancy. And especially because, look at your kids, Mike. Can you imagine what they might have looked like with two Mike Rankins as parents? So, yeah, I just want to congratulate Mike, and I'll sit down, and I think you all know that he's done a good job. He's very conscientious and sort of like extension is a good fit for him. Hope it was a lucky day for Fond du Lac County people when he got his truck moved up. So thanks for having me. I enjoyed it.